I'm back. Okay, so a few days ago, I made a video that went over a tournament that I had recently attended. So this is round 4 of that tournament. In case you didn't watch that video, you should. But it's 30-minute games, 5 rounds. This is round 4. So we'll call my opponent Jake. So we start out with e4. He responds with the Caro-Kann defense. I play the accelerated. He responds with bishop to f5. I respond with bishop to d3, and we trade. So he plays e6, and I think for a bit, and I play f4. Now I considered knight to f3, but I decided that's what he was going to expect, and I looked at what I was thinking was after f5. Well, it's not my turn at the moment, but after f5, takes, and that looks very good for me. So that's why I played f4. Now he doesn't respond to that. He responds with c5, and I respond with c3 to keep my structure so that after takes, I keep my central pawn, whereas if I had not, and simply played like a random move, after takes, I no longer have a central pawn. So I want a central pawn. So that was my thought process for defending my pawn with c3. He responds with knight to c6, and I respond with knight to f3. He takes, I take, and he gives me a check. And at this point, I'm feeling I'm much better. Like, I'm not up many material, but I'm better simply because I'm getting more tempo. If we look at this, I have 3 pieces out versus his 2, and I have 3 pawns versus his 2, and I have more space. I have more squares controlled in his territory, where he only has 2 squares controlled in mine. So he responds with knight to e7, which in the game I did not think was a very good move. I'm like, what is he doing? But apparently it's a good move, so I mean the engine claims it's the best move, so what do I know about chess? So I decided to make him make a choice about where he's going to put his bishop. He decides to back off, and I castle, and he castles. And at this point, I thought I had a major advantage. The computer says I don't really. It says up 0.64. And what I was thinking was something like this, and he's going to have to weaken his king. And something like this, it even thinks is, oh, well, I just missed mate. But you get what I'm saying. Like, he's forced to kick me out if that wasn't mate, and he just has light dark squared weaknesses that I can use. But again, the computer thinks that I didn't have that much of an advantage. So he defends, and this move f5, I thought I was a genius. Apparently I'm just an idiot. It thinks that f5 is almost losing because he can just take, and I forgot that my d4 pawn's hanging. So he misses that as well. And for some reason, he just plays bishop to b6, I believe. Yeah, bishop to b6. Because I guess he thought that after takes, he didn't see this. And was just thinking that he's going to get mated somehow. Like just something like this. And he just thought that was losing. So he decides to go completely crazy with bishop to b6. Obviously, I see a free knight, so I take it. And after takes, I decide to trade a pair of rooks and take the free pawn. It doesn't think that's the best move. What does it think I should have done? Oh, it thinks instead of taking his pawn, I should have just defended my own and stayed patient because this isn't going anywhere. It's very difficult to defend. But I don't see that, so I play knight to e6, and he responds with knight to f5, attacking my knight. I decide to accept the queen trade, even though it does undouble his pawns, because I'm up a fair bit of material, and if we just trade down into an endgame, I'm winning. So I play bishop to e3, just defending my pawn. It thinks it's better to take. Actually, what does it think? Bishop to e3. So it does think that's the best move. All right. I'm proud of myself. So he responds with rook to e7, rook to e8, attacking my knight. I move my knight out of the way, which I missed after takes, and this is a fork. So I missed that, and it still claims even after that I'm much better, but I'm not happy I missed that. So I play this, thinking it's blocking his attack on my pawn, because he has a double, he has 2 attackers, I only have 1 defender. So in my mind, I'm blocking, but after takes, he simply has d4, which is a fork, which I missed in the game. But luckily he didn't see it either, and just took a free pawn, which then I took his free pawn, and then he played bishop knight to g4. I just backed my bishop up, and he decided to trade, which I was completely fine with because, again, I'm up material. I'm up a knight, I believe, and a pawn. No, I'm just up a knight. We have a 3-on-2 and a 3-on-2. So he plays rook to e5, which I saw. I'm proud of myself. And I knew that I had rook to d1, which the reason this is a good move is because it's attacking the knight, and I can't move the knight because the pawn would be under attack. So for example, something like this is a blunder because that's hanging, this is under attack again, and I'm barely winning. I'm still winning, but not a fan of that. So I respond with rook to d1, defending the knight, after which I do b5, which now enables this knight to be able to move because the c5 pawn is no longer attacked behind it. So I move my knight. He just shuffles around. I decided to go for these pawns, and I played rook to d6. And at this point, I'm thinking, well, this has been a long game. I'm tired. This is round 4, so I've been playing chess for like 5 hours, something like that. And I think, hey, I'll just simplify down. This is a winning end game. And so I sack the knight for the 2 pawns. He decides to offer a rook trade, which is not a good move because when you're losing, you want to keep the pieces on the board. And so I happily oblige. I take it. And then I go and I win these pawns. h4 is good because if takes, I can simply take. So it's a trade, even though it does. Yeah. He doesn't do that. He reinforces. After takes, I play king to g4. And he responds with f3. At this point, he's just playing moves like, this is losing. It's been lost since a very long time ago. But so we have h4, we takes, and king to g4. I take the free pawn, and then I trade on the f-file, and then I simply walk my king, just making sure to avoid stalemates. There was probably a faster way I could have done this. I think somewhere it thinks there was a faster way. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so it thinks that instead of king to d7, I should have played a5. He only has one legal move, and then I can't play that. That's stalemate. What does it want? King to d8. King to d8. 2 moves. Okay, so it thinks that's faster. But instead of that, I played king to d7 right away, followed by king, c7. And then at this point he resigned because after that I just promote, and that's mate. So just running it through. Just go all the way back. All right, so let's see. Okay, so here's where we left theory. Well, not theory, but like book moves. f4 was an interesting move. It thinks it would have been better to go knight to f3. I think my move's fine. I'll look more into that, but we'll see what happens. So I think the key part of the game happened after knight to g5. He just got scared and didn't see that he could just takes, and that my d4 pawn was hanging, which is understandable. Again, we're both tired. This is round 4. And so he just completely self-destructs. And pretty much from there on, it's just cleanup. I just have to avoid making any major mistakes. And a lot of chess games are like that. And later on, sometimes in tournaments, you have to make decisions like that. Like, I didn't have to make this decision to sack the knight for the 2 pawns, but I trade it from a 2-on-3 to a 3-on-0 at the cost of a knight. So I'm up less material, but even if we take away both of these pawns, I think I'm still winning. Like, for example, let's have him make a move. If I just play something like that and just sack both of these pawns, yeah, I'm still winning. So I just decided to simplify, make life easier, and just traded down and used my advantage, just simplified, and then just avoiding stalemate, just cleaned up. So that's what a lot of chess games are like in tournaments, especially after you've been playing for a long time. You just have to be able to simplify and make practical decisions, even if it was not necessarily the best move, especially back here. Come on. There we go. It was a practical decision, and I felt it was a good decision. So that's pretty much the game. I mean, I was pretty proud of this game. I know, like, the numbers don't really matter too much, but if we go over here, it claims, I just want to make sure that's actually visible. It is. So it claims that I played with a 93% accuracy, and my blunder, what was my blunder? Where was that? I want to see what that was. Okay, so my blunder was blundering that fork, which even after that, that's not what he should have played. He should have played that. That's what he played. It still claims I'm winning, and I'm not going to lie, I missed it. And then, where was... 0 mistakes, pretty proud of that. Alright, so one thing I just wanted to take a quick look at was in details. So, and this is something a lot of people don't know about chess.com, is that's what I'm on, by the way. You can take a look at specific piece, your accuracy with a specific piece. So for example, it claims I played with 94% accuracy with pawns, with 19 pawn moves. And knight accuracy is something that I majorly need to work on. It claims that with knights, I was not very good in this game. I was not using them very well, compared to his 76% accuracy. Bishops, I was a lot better than him with. Rooks, I was extremely good with a 95% accuracy versus his 3. And then queen accuracy was 99.68. So I think so you can't really judge with 2 queen moves what is, and then king, I was very good with the king. So it's just interesting to be able to see all of this. So what were the things I majorly beat him in? I beat him majorly in rooks and bishops, and he completely smoked me with knights. So you can be able to take a look at these things and know, okay, in this game I did not do well with knights, and in this game I did very well with my rooks, and my queen and my king moves were on point. And you can just be able to take looks at that and be able to know what you need to improve on. So that's pretty much all I have for the video. If you want to see more of the tournament games, there were 5 games in the tournament. And really I just wanted to share the game and just kind of so you know what to expect more from a tournament game. I thought it'd be interesting, and yeah, I will see you all again in the next one. Adios.